Temi, my two sons are like cat and mouse. We're always settling one fight or the other every day. Is this normal? Because it is emotionally draining for me. And that was the cry for help that I got from a mom, and I would be addressing it in this video. If this sounds like you or sounds like something you're interested in, then you want to stay with me till the end. Welcome back to our channel. I'm Temi, and yes, I run this channel with my kids, but for the sake of today, I would be speaking and responding to a cry for help from a mom that reached out to say, you know what, our sons are they're like cat and mouse. Basically, they're always fighting each other. And it is, when you have children that they do not like, it appears like they do not like themselves, or they're always constantly arguing or fighting each other. It's always quite aggressive. It can be emotionally draining for a parent because you can't take sides. And if you take sides, you're just even worsening it anyway. And I said, okay, this is what, rather than just respond to the mom, I said, let me create, a video to address this so that other moms can also benefit from this. So if this is you, to be honest, what I always tell parents is that when it comes to teaching children how to manage relationships, it's not something that is natural. It's something that we have to learn. It's something they have to see, and also obviously practice what you preach, that kind of a thing. So which I would get to very soon. So number one thing that I always call out is ensure you set ground rules. It's okay, let your children know that they don't have to agree. It's even for you as a parent, do you agree with everything your child does? Even with your spouse, do you agree with whatever they say? But will you be fighting each other every day? So, and that's what you want to let your children know, that it's okay for your sister or your brother not to agree with you. It's okay for them not to want to listen to you. It's okay for them, not want to cooperate with you. But you don't have to get upset. It doesn't have to be to the point that it's now physical. I always tell parents, ensure that you discourage every form of physical reaction, and obviously in terms of, it's not only physical, it's also in terms of what they say, how they express themselves in terms of insults. Some of them, yes, they're not fighting physically, but their words are damaging. So you want to ensure and set ground rules that in this house, you keep your hands to yourself. In this house, I'm not going to accept you fighting each other. It's okay if you disagree. It's okay if you're not happy. This is how we're going to learn to respond to each other. In this house, no insult. We don't want negative words. We don't want somebody insulting each other. And please bear in mind, which obviously it will be my last point anyway, be a good example, because some of you are insulting these children. They're learning from you. If you insult your children, they would insult themselves. If you insult your children, they will insult other people. And if you are not insulting your children and you insult other people in front of your children, they would think insulting other people is the way to say, I'm not happy with you, I don't agree with you. And it's so true. Some people cannot but insult if they don't agree with you. I don't get it. Please explain it. Explain it why you cannot just express yourself and say, I don't agree with you. Please, so this is not me. This is not what I want, until you've insulted or you have bashed that person. And everything starts from the home, to be honest. And if it's not something you stop now, your children would go into relationships, into workplaces, and they would keep doing this. So it's your responsibility to nail it, right here, there and there. Set ground rules to discourage it and stop it, and say, in this house, if you don't keep your hands to yourself, if you fight each other, if you insult each other, any negative words used against each other, these are the consequences to it. Set those things up, right? Then the next one is encourage positive behavior. So when you see your children actually really getting along, hey, I jealousy my children. you guys, well done. I really, what games are you playing? You know, acknowledge when they're having that good relationship, because when they see that, oh, the parents are actually reinforcing that good behavior, they tend to want to do it more and and communicate better with each other. Even when they're playing games and, one person is losing and they're actually saying, okay, you have lost, okay, continue play. You want to say, this is so cool, this is so nice. So reinforce those, those positive behaviors to say, wow, I'm so proud of you guys, you're doing well. And they would tend to want to do it more and learn to know that that's the best way to communicate, even when they're not, agreeing, with each other. Then teach conflict resolution. So what do I mean? If your children are quarreling or they're disagreeing with each other, do they know what to do? Do they know how to resolve issues? Don't think that somebody else will teach your child. You might be lucky that maybe they will teach them in church or maybe school or something, but it's still your responsibility. They say charity starts from the home. So start with them. So when they've done something, they're quarreling or they're using some words, you want to say, no, this is not like I've said before, but this is how you respond. So if you're not happy with somebody, say, you know what, I don't like what you said. I don't appreciate how you said it. And this is how I would appreciate, It's so amazing if we can be so intentional with our children, because we'll just all behave, we all just, become better adults, because these are things many adults are struggling with and they don't know how to manage, conflicts. And that's why even in workplaces, you can see, trainings on conflict resolution, managing conflict, and you're thinking this is something that should be learned when everyone was growing up. So you don't want your children to grow up to be the same, that they would have to even go for therapy, trainings and coaching to be able to manage conflict. Start to teach them. Oh, when your sister or your brother says, don't touch me, respect their boundary and don't touch them. And if you still have any issue, then come to me, or even if it's at school, you can report. But in the context, we're talking about sibling, right? You want to prevent sibling rivalry is a destructive thing. It has destroyed many families that when their parents are dead, like those siblings can never see eye to eye. I've seen it. I've worked with families that, it's affecting even their parenting, affecting, protecting their children from their cousins and all that, because they don't see their siblings as family again, because they're like, when their parents were alive, the parents was always taking side with one person or the other. Please, let's avoid, sibling rivalry, which would get me to my next point. But please, it's your responsibility to teach your children how to manage conflict, because they don't know how to do that. But now, as an adult, if you now don't know how to do that, then you need to seek help so that you can help your children manage conflict. Which leads me to the next point, that, I avoid comparison, because this is another source of rivalry, right? In the sense that you don't need to compare one child to the other. Yes, even there's a way you can use siblings as example and you want them to learn from each other, but saying, oh, if it was your brother would have done it this way, your sister would have done it this way, this is how your sister does it, she's so good at it. Bring out lessons. This is how to wash this thing. This is how to do this thing. This is how the maths, if the child is struggling with one subject or something, get help for the child rather than highlighting their weaknesses over the strength of another child. So avoid and stop comparison. This would absolutely help you in having to, help your children manage conflicts. Like I was saying earlier, you can see adults that siblings, they don't see eye to eye. Do you think those siblings, many times you look at some siblings like, oh my God, I wish I'm like, our family is like this. I wish I'm close to my siblings. It is thought like their parents were intentional to say, my children, you will love yourself. My children, you will be each other's friends. My children, you would watch over each other. You know, you would look, you know, you watch each other, oh my God, you would watch each other's back, right? It's your responsibility as a parent to do that, to say, this is how you should treat your sibling. This is how you should treat your sister. You should be nice to your brother. You should listen to each other. You know, if you don't teach it, even, you know, ensure that you bring them together to do things together, to play games together. Now everybody's just doing their own thing. Some kids will be in their sitting room or in their bedroom playing games on the screen. Every child is on the screen. And at the end of the day, they are adults. By the time they get into secondary school, it starts to, you know, it starts to widen. Universities, everybody goes their way. And at the end of the day, where is the relationship between the siblings? So it's when they're quite really young that you have to be very deliberate to say, no, everybody put your screens together. It's family time, it's bonding time, it's playing time. You know, ensure you do that, because if you do not do that, I mean, when you're gone, then what's left with your family, right? Which brings me to my final point. Be a good role model. Practice what you preach. So how do you relate with other people? Husband and wife, how do you relate with yourself? Are you constantly insulting each other? Are you constantly fighting? You know, are you constantly, you know, insulting these children, insulting other people? So ensure that you are living what you want your children to live by. Do you get what I'm saying? It just makes it easier when they see a good example. And even if they're not following through, you can say, you see that I'm not like this. You see how your daddy and myself, or how your mommy and myself, we manage, you know, communication. You see, right? Do you see us just fighting each other and just shouting? So why would you do that? That means there are better ways that you can communicate, you know, with your siblings, and, you know, and so on and so forth. So if, you know, if there are other ways that you can, you know, we can handle sibling, you know, rivalry, especially having to manage siblings that fight from time to time constantly. If there are other tips that you can give, please leave it in the comments. And if one or two has resonated with you as well, also leave it in the comments. And if you've absolutely gained one thing or the other also from this video, and if you've not, I know you have gained, just press the like button. And if you've not subscribed, I don't know why you have not subscribed and you're just watching us. We'll be bringing so many engaging topics on how we can be an intentional parent from time to time. And you don't want to miss out of this, because what? We are raising giants for the future. We are raising phenomenal children for the future. And to be honest, we want a society to be better, but where do we start from? From the family unit. So see you in the next video. Bye.